In the 1930s, America's army was small, underfunded, and still armed with bolt-action rifles left over from World War I. Each shot had to be manually reloaded. One pull, one bullet. While other nations experimented with automatic weapons, the US remained skeptical. Then came a quiet Canadian-born inventor named John Garand. He worked alone in a corner of the Springfield Armory, sketching out an idea that sounded ridiculous to many officers, a rifle that reloaded itself. No bolt, no delay, no wasted seconds. They laughed at him. Too complicated, they said, too fragile. The Army tested dozens of prototypes from other designers and rejected them all. But Garand didn't stop. He built, rebuilt, and refined. By 1936, his weapon, the M1 Garand, was officially adopted by the US military. It fired 30 Euro-6 cartridges semi-automatically, 8 rounds at a time, with a distinctive metallic ping when the clip ejected. Still, few believed it would matter. Traditionalists clung to their bolt actions. Politicians cut budgets. Soldiers barely trained with it. But when war erupted in Europe and the Pacific, the weapon no one wanted would prove itself in the harshest classroom imaginable. The battlefield. December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. The United States was at war, and suddenly its soldiers needed every advantage they could get. The first M1 Garands reached troops in early 1942, just as the fighting began in North Africa. The weapon's performance stunned everyone. While German troops still worked the bolts on their Mauser rifles, American soldiers fired 8 rounds as fast as they could pull the trigger. In close combat, that difference was life or death. Reports came back from the front describing German soldiers mistaking entire squads of Americans for machine gun teams because of how quickly they could fire. General George S. Patton called the Garand the greatest battle implement ever devised. And for good reason. It changed how infantry fought. Soldiers no longer had to break aim between shots. They could suppress, advance, and dominate at ranges where the enemy struggled to keep up. In Italy, in Normandy, and across the Pacific Islands, the M1 Garand turned every rifleman into a small storm of firepower. When the Japanese and Germans captured their first Garands, they were baffled. Japanese officers examined the rifle's gas-operated mechanism and couldn't believe how simple it was to maintain. They were used to bolt-action Arisakas, durable, yes, but slow. The Garand's rate of fire gave American troops a constant edge. In Europe, German engineers disassembled captured Garands and sent back technical reports. One read, "The American rifle demonstrates a surprising balance between precision, reliability, and volume of fire. For the first time, enemy infantry realized they were outgunned. A single American squad could hold off larger forces simply by laying down continuous, accurate fire. Some German soldiers even joked grimly, 'When you hear the ping, that's your only chance.' The Garand's signature sound when empty was famous, but taking advantage of it wasn't so easy when every US soldier around you was firing back. From the snowy Ardennes to the jungles of the Philippines, the M1 proved itself not just as a weapon, but as a symbol. It represented America's industrial strength and the power of relentless innovation. The M1 Garand didn't just change battles, it changed soldiers. Ask any veteran from World War II or Korea, and they'll tell you the same thing. The Garand never failed when it mattered. Mud, sand, snow, it fired through it all. In the freezing chaos of the Battle of the Bulge, American troops fought against tanks, mortars, and cold that froze fingers solid. Yet the Garand still worked. They fired through the blizzards when German weapons jammed. In the Pacific, Marines carried them through jungles and swamps. They swore by its reliability and accuracy. It could pierce cover and drop enemies before. They even raised their rifles. The M1 wasn't just a tool, and it was a lifeline. Soldiers gave their rifles names, carried them home, and wrote about them in letters. The weapon that had once been doubted became the one they trusted most. Even after the war, foreign nations adopted it. The French, Italians, and South Koreans all used Garands, a testament to its design and legacy. By 1945, the M1 Garand had fired millions of rounds across 3 continents. It was no longer the rifle no one wanted. It was the rifle that helped free a world. Its impact went beyond its mechanics. It changed how armies thought about infantry. Combat forever, proving that mobility, fire rate, and simplicity could outweigh complexity and tradition. When the war ended, General Patton's words echoed true. The greatest battle implement ever devised. John Garand never became a household name. He didn't profit from his design, and he lived a quiet life after the war. But every veteran who carried his rifle remembered him, the man who gave them a fighting chance. Today, surviving M1s are displayed in museums and honored in parades. Veterans still grip their wooden stocks with reverence, the weight of memory heavier than the metal itself. The M1 Garand didn't just fire bullets, it fired history, and it forever proved that sometimes the weapon everyone doubts becomes the one that defines a generation.